A dream that started as a class project has quickly transformed into a reality.
This is the Kanga casemate, and it truly is cooler than a cooler.
I'm Logan Lamance. I'm from actually the local area, a small town called Pickens, South Carolina. I went to Clemson. That's actually the only college I applied to. The scope of the class was to really create more of a local solution where everybody starts off with $500 and you either, like some people did like cookies and bags of cookies and coffee and stuff, delivery. For that, some people did grocery delivery service, some people did like a mobile car washing service. And you know, the idea that I had thinking for this class project was a little bit bigger than the scope of that.
I was tailgating with some friends, really stressing out about trying to come up with an idea for this class project. We were drinking warm beer from cases, and it wasn't good to say the least.
It hit me that, you know, we need to create a solution like a koozie for the whole case.
This is Case Koozie. We created it to solve the most common drinking problem we saw at parties, tailgates, and the outdoors: warm beer.
Finally, I've got the thing I'm going to run with, and I'm going to use the class project as a way to make that real. So we kind of ran at a different pace. We were focused on different things, and I think the scope of the class was designed for it.
My name is Austin Maxwell. I bumped into the Kanga guys. It was Logan and Ryan in March of 2017 when they had launched their original Kickstarter. So I was not part of the original class project. And I looked at the Kickstarter campaign and I thought that the idea that Logan had was genius. And the way that I am is if I see something that I'm interested in working with or being a part of, I kind of immediately go for it. So I sent the guys an email and asked, hey, I want to help. Is there anything that I can do to help? And they invited me to a meeting, and one thing led to another, and here we are now.
And then we had to figure out, you know, how to make this thing, whoever's going to buy it, and all the different questions that you'll have, you know, starting a company down the road.
I knew from talking to Logan that at some point he was interested in potentially he would love to be on Shark Tank.
When we originally came up with the product, we just thought it'd be a really cool way to get in front of millions of people. You see a lot of people who go on the show who maybe inspired us to start the business, especially for me. I kind of grew up on the show. Shark Tank, if anyone has not seen it before, is basically an entrepreneurship show where real companies, mostly small and newer businesses, will go in front of a panel of 5 to 6 super successful, super wealthy investors and pitch their product or their service and try to get money, but even more importantly than money, get some actual guidance from the investors who have a tremendous amount of experience.
I actually had kept the Shark Tank application filled out in my backpack each 6 months, you know, after the class project. And so I really just kept that revolving as a dream, just kind of in the backpack, updating it every couple months.
And I had a guest speaker in my class, I think it was the year after they were in class. It was Kim Nelson from Daisy Cakes. So she was a local entrepreneur who was also on Shark Tank. And said, you want to come in, you can maybe talk to Kim about her experience and see if she had any tips.
And I got a chance to talk to her after the class and just tell her like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. We're a little bit early. Like, at the time, we didn't even have product in hand. We had just launched a Kickstarter campaign. Like, we didn't really have everything figured out. I'm just saying, you know, when should we do this? And she just basically said like, now, go for it. They have an open audition in Atlanta, which is not far from us, in I think 2 weeks. The only one of the year that's going to be in the Southeast. They're going to be there in 2 weeks.
What do you have to lose?
How would you like to be shark bait?
Yeah, well, it's more appealing than you think. We're talking about the hit ABC show Shark Tank. There's an open casting call happening right now.
All right, so it's currently 5:30 a.m. on a Sunday. We are rolling out right now. About to drive to downtown Atlanta to try out for Shark Tank.
All of the team kind of helped put the pitch together and get prepared.
You just literally show up, you have your elevator pitch nailed down.
We waited in line from like 4 or 5 a.m. to maybe noon, where it was our turn to actually pitch to not the investors, not the sharks. You're just pitching to the casting crew.
They're not only looking for a good business, they're looking for people that are good for TV. So you're talking with producers, you're pitching to producers, and that's where they really assess, are you going to be a great fit for TV, and is your business something that people can care enough about?
Then you get the call or the email and it says, hey, congratulations, we want to fly you guys out to LA and film for season 10 of Shark Tank. We filmed in mid-September of 2018, made the deal with Mark Cuban, and then we didn't hear from the producers for October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months after we were in LA filming, we get an email that says, congratulations again, your episode's gonna air on April 7th of 2019.
In that moment, it's so special because it's like, it felt like nothing else really mattered. It was just this amazing, impossible thing. It just happened.
We hosted a party in Clemson at 356 to actually watch the live episode.
Next up is a trio who came up with a solution to their chronic problem.
All right, guys, you know what? I've done every beer and alcohol that's come on here. I'll make you an offer. All right, it's not a negotiation, just an offer. You say yes or no. I'll give you the $100,000, but I want 20%. Yes or no?
You got a deal?
I think it was like 14 hours that day, and we just shipped out cooler after cooler. We ended up having like a mountain of coolers.
From the day that we aired, we saw a huge spike, and then the days afterwards.
The Shark Tank effect is real, absolutely. Tens of thousands of people came to our website, if not 100,000 people plus. There was PR, there was people who wanted to interview us, there was articles circulating around the internet.
The Kanga casemates have landed a deal from Mark Cuban on Shark Tank.
There was social media presence and people tagging us that from different countries, and it just kind of was all very fast and very crazy. The orders were there, the revenue came in, so obviously we all had to come in and ship orders because we didn't really have a system in place yet to handle that kind of volume. It was just really surreal. When you go on the show, you are labeled as that Shark Tank brand. And I think it is important to kind of ride that wave for the first year or so.
We're still a Shark Tank company, and we identify as one, but I think we're bigger than that now.
We've been continuing to try to grow the brand so that it's not Kanga Coolers, a Shark Tank brand, but not also forgetting that that did help us to where we are today. If we ever want to be a real player, a massive competitor on some of the big companies in the cooler and beverage space, we need that separation from, Kanga Coolers, a Shark Tank brand.
We did a poll, I think a few weeks ago, about like what Kanga is as a brand. And one of them was a Shark Tank company, a product company, or a brand company. And I think what we really wanted to become was a brand. So when people thought of Kanga Coolers, they wouldn't think, oh, that's the brand on Shark Tank. That's the brand that makes really cool coolers and has a good lifestyle behind it.
It's an everyday improvement, try to get a little bit better on it. It's not something that we're just gonna snap our fingers and it happens overnight. But I do think that for the past year or 2 years, we've been actively trying to put more importance on those other things, the word of mouth marketing, the social media, the fun content, the value we can bring our consumers over maybe the first year after Shark Tank. It was, hey, did you guys see us on the show? This is what kind of helped us to get to a certain point. But from where we're gonna go from now to the future, it's a different path. It's building a team and a culture that other people really wanna work for and will do anything they can to have an opportunity to work with us or for us. And the Shark Tank component was just a step on the big ladder that we're all going through. And I think it's cool that we can have good memories from that moment, but it's not something we have to rely on anymore.
It's crazy to think that, even to begin with, that a small town kid from Pickens, South Carolina, or a guy that went to Clemson and had an idea in a class project, or any of us, that we could go to Shark Tank and be successful and get a deal with Mark Cuban. Like, that's such a big reach and such a big dream. On the other side of that, now we're looking at and say, okay, well, what does it look like for Kanga to be really competing with the Yetis of the world, with the Igloos of the world, with the Brewmates of the world? What does that look like for us to be there? It feels like the same kind of dream and the same kind of, impossible to reach, but yet we did it one time, we're gonna do it again.